Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here once again, and welcome to Big Mike Talks. I'm here to give my review for this week. Now, little amendum, there will be no Saturday review as I will be watching/covering Impact Wrestling Multiverse United, so no Impact Wrestling review. Friday is Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor, so no SmackDown/Rampage review. So I'm just going to cover Raw, NWA Power, MLW Underground, and AEW Dynamite for this week. So kick back, relax, have yourself something to drink, and let's do this. Starting off, of course, with Monday Night Raw, leading into a Miz TV segment. Yay, I always love these. Guests, Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus. They talk about their upcoming match with Damage Control, which of course brings them out right away. Basically, Becky pretty much saying, I thought I was done at you at the War Games in the Steel Cage, but now it's all gonna end at WrestleMania, which leads into a pretty nice match between Becky Lynch and Io Sky. These two have some really good chemistry together, and then after a manhandle slam, Becky Lynch picks up the victory. It does feel like Damage Control needs this win at WrestleMania, otherwise it looks like they are going the way of Old Yeller. Not saying they're going to be released, but they'll at the very least disband. So we'll see what happens there. Then we get a backstage Seth Rollins interview, which is immediately interrupted by Mustafa Ali, pretty much saying, oh, you gotta stay positive with Logan Paul. You got knocked out twice, but he has so many followers, and he's a star, so he may give you the rub, as it were. Then we get a relatively short match between Rollins and Mustafa Ali after a couple of nasty stomps. And then Seth Rollins gets on the microphone, pretty much says, Logan, I've heard through the grapevine that it is your birthday on Saturday, so basically confirming that match is going to be on night one. So these fans throughout the match are going to serenade you, but with my song, and they start singing along. And honestly, that moment, it's going to be great. I can't wait to hear however many thousand people singing Seth Rollins music. That's going to be awesome. We then get a backstage segment between Chelsea Green and Adam Page, basically saying, Green pretty much saying, oh, why am I not in the WrestleMania Showcase match? Page then says, oh, your partner from last week, Piper Niven, doesn't want anything to do with you. In comes Sonya Deville, pretty much running down Adam Page. And they're going to be tagging together. So they're going to take on Candice LeRae and Mia Yim to determine the last spot in the WrestleMania Showcase. Next up, we got the Brock Lesnar Omos weigh-in. And if you remember the one between Cody Rhodes and Anthony Ogono, this match could go south very quickly. Omos comes out first. He weighs in at 410 pounds. That is a big dude, not gonna lie. Brock Lesnar then does come out. He has a stare down with Omos, and they go right back to fighting. No way in for Brock Lesnar. During the brawl, Omos picks up the scale and looks to hit Brock Lesnar with it. That was actually kind of funny. I'll give Omos that. Seeing that brought me back to oh God, who was it? The whatever Holly calls it wasn't Hardcore Holly. I forget who it was. That would bring down the scale with him to the ring. That was funny. We then get a Rhea Ripley interview, pretty much running down the accolades of Charlotte Flair. But then she says, at WrestleMania, I need this title. I need to be a superstar. I need to beat Charlotte Flair. Which she's kind of been saying the last couple of weeks. There is just something about this feud that doesn't... It's not a well-built feud. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sure you'll kill it in the match. But the feud, it's just not clicking. And then we got a Finn Balor video package basically dueling Edge, who last week was a floating head. You know, bring your devil. I'll have a demon. I don't need to summon my demons. They're always here. And intercut a picture of the demon Finn Balor over his face, which I'll admit, cool effect. This match is gonna rule. Next match, we have a 8-man tag team match playa as the Street Profits team up with Braun Strowman and Ricochet to take on War Raiders and Alpha Academy. This match was a really good match. All 8 guys had very, very good, they worked really, really well together. Lots of good high flying from Ricochet, obviously, but then we got the Strowman Express from the outside the ring. That always pops me. I'm simple like that. And, Ricochet with a big old spine buster, which I can't believe he did that. A power slam by Braun Strowman. A shooting star press by Ford into a frog splash for the win for the Street Profits, Strowman and Ricochet. So, this is going to be a fun match. Is it a beat meaningless? Yeah, but I could still have fun with this. Then we get a Cody Rhodes interview, hyping up his match for later tonight with Solo. Basically asked, why'd you take this match? You took it for the love of the game, for everyone who looks up to me, and for the fans. So, we'll see what happens there. Next up, we have an Austin Theory promo in an empty arena before the show. This promo was a little weird, but he pretty much says, John, you thought you cooked me in your promo a few weeks ago in Boston, but ultimately you exposed yourself, and I'm going to make a believer out of you at WrestleMania. So, fine. We then get the shortest match of the evening, which, it is what it is. Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green versus Mia Yim and Candice LeRae. They did get cooking a little bit together. Mia Yim was a little bit awkward, but that's besides the point. And then after a reverse DDT and an unprettier, Sonya and Chelsea Green get the win. So they're going to be in the WrestleMania Showcase match. We then get a backstage interview with Paul Heyman, pretty much reiterating what he's been saying for quite a while now about Cody, that he's not ready, that Roman's going to destroy him, and that Solo tonight isn't here to take a win, but he's here to injure Cody ahead of his match with Roman, which, sound strategy for a heel group. So, that should be a fun one. Next up, a relatively, I don't even want to say quick match, but it was pretty quick. Damian Priest versus Rey Mysterio. This match felt like it was always in first gear for kind of the first half, but then executed right into third gear, skipping second, which, it's fine. Rey Mysterio picks up the win after a 619. Then Dom gets in the ring, has a little face-off. Actually, no, what happens is Rey hits a 619. Then he's going for the frog splash. Dom knocks him off the top rope to cause the DQ. Dom and Damian Priest then go for a big beatdown. And then Legado del Fantasma make the save, which it looks like Rey is going to have some backup. So, and I'm definitely okay with Fantasma being face guys. I think that works. Then we get a Sammy KO backstage promo, basically saying, we're on the verge of history, of winning the tag team titles together. And they're hyped for their match with the Usos, as am I. Next is a short match where Gunther, making his Raw debut, takes on Dolph Ziggler. And while Ziggler did get in a few moves, Gunther dominated. And then post-match, after the victory, he gets on the mic, says, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, at WrestleMania, I'm going to do whatever it takes to retain my title. So, short but sweet. And then next up, we have our main event for Monday Night Raw, as it's Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa. And I am so glad they gave this match enough time. These two worked really, really well together, including Solo powering out of the Crossroads more than a couple times. And actually, he kicked out of a Crossroads once, which that was kind of insane. Cody then misses a moonsault. Solo then hits a big old Samoan spike to the throat. Doesn't win. And then after a Cody cutter, out come the Usos. Looks like they're about to get involved. Out comes Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to fight off the Usos. Then a disaster kick, Crossroads. Cody Rhodes gives Solo Sikoa his first loss in WWE main roster, which, okay, that's a way to do it. Didn't exactly bury Solo, but he still feels big time, He still feels like post-WrestleMania, when Cody wins, he could be a viable challenger. Alright, that is it for Raw. Next up, we have NWA Power, which was a pretty interesting little night of wrestling, where we start off with a triple threat match featuring JR Kratos, Magic Jake Dumas, and Jordan Clearwater. Now, match starts right off with Kratos dominating at first, but then Jake and Clearwater team up for a little while. Looks like they have the Monster down. Monster fights back. Then after a little bit more, Jake Dumas tries turning on Clearwater. Ultimately losing at the hands of Kratos with a power slam. So maybe Kratos is the next man to step up to Clearwater for the television title. Alright, next up we have Blunt Force Trauma, which are two masked guys. They're pretty much big muscle-bound dudes. Take on Magnum Muscle, that's Dak Draper and Mims, who are going to be ending up cashing in their Championship Series title match on the tag team titles, which, that's kind of interesting. I kind of like that move. However, that shot is on the line in this match against Blunt Force Trauma. There's a lot of big moves all around. A lot of great chemistry, too, actually. Then out comes Aaron Stevens, the former Damien Sandow. Looks like he's about to get involved, and May Valentine just slaps the taste out of his mouth. And yet, for whatever reason, the ref called for the bell. So that means this ends in a DQ, and Draper and Mims keep their title shot? I think that's one of the things that's annoying about NWA. They kind of try to go in all directions at once. It's a bit frustrating, but we do still get Mims and Draper getting their title opportunity, which I wouldn't say no at. Next up, a number one contenders match for the NWA Junior Heavyweight title, as Alex Taylor takes on Joe Alonzo. And if Alonzo loses, his crew, the Ill Begotten, will be dissolved as a team. And honestly, this was a nice little mix of high-flying moves and mat wrestling. It was a great hybrid style. It worked really well. Near the end of the match, the manager, Danny Dios, tries to get involved, ends up tripping his boy Alonzo, which then works into the skull-crushing finale for Joe Alonzo. So Alonzo gets the title shot, Ill Begotten are gone. Then we get a La Rosa Negra interview where she pretty much says, "Oh, I'm ready for Camille at NWA 312. This title may be hers for now, but I'm gunning for it." So, that should be a fun match. And our main event for NWA Power, we have Tyrus teaming up with Eric Jackson to take on EC3 and Black G's. Tyrus kind of plays around with G's for a little bit, kind of hinting, "Oh, things are fine between us." And then G's kind of slaps the taste out of Tyrus's mouth. And then he tags out and does not get into the match anymore. Which then just leaves EC3 in there with Jackson. EC3 with the 1%er. And a very interesting frog splash for the victory for G's and EC3. It was a fine match for what it was, but with Tyrus in there, it kind of slows things way down too much. But overall, entertaining Power. And it's going to be interesting to see the pay-per-view in a couple weeks. Next up, we have MLW Underground, which starts with a match between Real One, the former Enzo Amore, and Microman, which, if you've never seen Microman, he's the biggest wrestler in the world. This match was mostly played for comedy. It was then revealed that Mance Warner gave Microman a kendo stick that he got from the Sandman. There is then a chair that Enzo set up in the corner, in which it looks like Enzo is going to hit him with a crossbody. Microman moves, he goes headfirst in the chair, and while the ref's distracted by Mance Warner, Microman gets a kendo stick shot in for the pin and the win. Like I said, it's the big comedy match of the evening, and it was fun for what it was. Hammerstone comes out for a promo. His world title win against Jacob Fatu last week was the biggest in his career. And then after he got laid out by the Calling, he is calling them out for War Chamber, which we'll see where that goes later in the night, trust me. We get a little history of the Opera Cup, which was taken by Alex Kane this past season, which shows why there wasn't a tournament. Hopefully there's a tournament in the future. Then we see Davey Boy Smith backstage, pretty much calling out Alex Kane, and saying, I'm ready to retire you to that Paradise Suplex Island. Which, honestly, that got a chuckle out of me. We then get a calling promo introducing Akira, who has his first match against Mike Law. Pretty much standard jobber match, in which Akira wins with the death penalty. We then get Alex Kane backstage working out with the Bumaye Fight Club, pretty much saying, Dave Boy, you're all bark no bite as a bulldog, and tonight I'm knocking everyone out, and this year is my year. Then we get a kind of funny PSA promo of Taya and John Hennigan looking for Cesar Duran, their former leader. So we'll see where that goes. We get a Manders promo, pretty much one called Manders promo. Sorry, he's a part of the Second Gear crew, basically saying, Cowboys aren't all just about what they wear. It's our attitude. It's about grit. It's about getting back up. Manders loves to fight. And I'd like to add gold to my belt buckle. So, we'll see what goes on there. We then see Akira and Ricky Shane Page attack EJ and Duca backstage. And then we get to our main event of MLW Underground as Alex Kane takes on Davey Boy Smith Jr. And boy, oh boy, this was a house fight of all house fights. Like, I loved the Hammerstone Jacob Fatu match last week. I think this was just as good. Lot of combination moves, a lot of great chemistry. It was pretty much suplex style versus strong style, which I will always get behind. Then, near end of the match, the rest of the Bumaye Fight Club distract the ref. Alex Kane gets a water bottle, it seemed, and sprayed it in Davey Boy Smith's face. Looked like he's selling like death, like he's blinded. So maybe it wasn't just water. And then we get the Mark of Kane, which is a big brainbuster move. And the winner is Alex Kane. Post-match interview asked Alex Kane what was in that bottle of water. And he pretty much tries to play it off. Oh, what liquid? What are you talking about? I just got a big victory. And he reveals it's Bumaye juice, whatever that is. So I guess it's equivalent to Mike's secret stuff from Space Jam. So we'll see where that goes. Then, post-match, we see the Second Gear crew at some bar backstage talking the shit. Alex Hammerstone comes in, pretty much says, hey boys, I know you guys have your issues with the calling as well. I want to recruit you guys for War Games. Second Gear crew, War Games, War Chamber. And Second Gear crew says, heck yeah, let's do it. That match is going to be fun as heck. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be coming in the coming weeks. And finally, we got AEW Dynamite, which was definitely a fun show. And it starts out with a real hot opener of Jungle Boy versus Matt Hardy. Ethan Page is out with Matt Hardy. He's doing the Jeff Hardy stuff. which is pretty funny. About midway through the match, Matt Hardy is on the outside. Jungle Boy looks to dive on him. Ethan Page gets in the way. And then he does it anyway. So, that was an interesting little match. And then about halfway, Hook comes out to fight off Ethan Page to the back. Then after a dropkick flatliner into a roaring elbow, the winner, we have Jungle Boy, which, big old win for him. And then out comes MJF, which, after their promo, after the Rebar Mitzvah, Jungle Boy wants a title shot. And MJF pretty much says, "Oh, you think it's easy for me that this is the MJF show?" And you're right. It was pretty much easy for me. I just got to get up, cut a promo, then go backstage, get in my car, and go home. Then he told Jungle Boy, when we had our first match back in 2020, during the pandemic, I saw a little bit of myself in you. I thought you could have been great, but then you still hung out with Jurassic Express, at the time being Marco Stunt and Luchasaurus. And then had the services of Christian Cage, who then turned on him. So, basically saying, our careers took totally different paths because I'm the champ and you're out here having great matches. And that leads to Jungle Boy just jumping Kenny Omega, MJF, and MJF then backs up the ramp. I do hope we'll be seeing that one-on-one soon. I'd be down with that. Then we get a little segment backstage of Kenny Omega in the doctor's office, his ribs all taped up, and Don Callis pretty much says, "Oh, what happened last week between me and him and Adam Page? I do not blame him for attacking me. It was a big old misunderstanding, and I'm going to go find Hangman Page right now and apologize to him." And that Kenny should focus on Jeff Cobb and the U.S. title, IWGP U.S. title match, which we'll get to that. We then get a segment of the JAS, mainly Matt Menard and Angelo Parker, taking the Acclaimed, including Billy Gunn, out on the town trying to recruit them. And the Acclaimed pretty much say, "You know what? Next week on Long Island, we shall give you our answer." In which I'm probably going to say it's going to be a no. Because I don't think that works. Next match up, we were supposed to have a trios match between the Blackpool Combat Club and Dalton Castle and the Boys. And while Dalton Castle and the Boys were making their entrance, they get jumped by the Blackpool Combat Club and completely annihilated. We got Claudio and Brendan Tate in the ring. Bell rings. And Claudio just dominates, including a powerbomb to win for the Blackpool Combat Club. Like, yikes. That was domination on a big level, and I'm interested to see where this goes. We get an interview with Hangman Adam Page, who was in the ambulance with the Young Bucks when they left, and then came back to help Kenny. Young Bucks are beat up, but they are on the mend. Don't have a date for their return coming, so could be a long-term thing. We'll see. And then we see Don Callis roll up. He pretty much apologizes to Hangman for the other week. Pretty much says, "It's not your fault. It was the Blackpool Combat Club, and we don't need to get between you and Kenny." Then, from behind, The Blackpool Combat Club take out both guys, and then we just barely reveal Don Callis busted open. And apparently that was real. So that was real blood, which is, that's insane. I hope Don is alright. Now, before his match with Jeff Cobb, Kenny Omega gets the news that Don Callis will be not joining him on ringside because he got jumped by the Blackpool Combat Club, in which that does mentally shake Kenny Omega a little bit. But boy, oh boy, he and Jeff Cobb went at it. It was a great little match. A lot of big power moves. You got Kenny trying once for the one-winged angel and then can't get him up because Jeff Cobb is a big dude. We have Jeff Cobb going for a moonsault, which that was impressive. Then Cobb goes for the one-winged angel. It's countered. He then tries for the Tour of the Islands. That gets countered. V-trigger, one-winged angel for the win for Kenny Omega. Like, that was a heck of a bout. I cannot wait for more from Kenny. Then out come the Blackpool Combat Club. They surround the ring. Looks like they're getting ready for another beatdown. Out comes Bryan Danielson, in which, like, I wasn't expecting him at all. I knew he was taking a break. I didn't know how long he'd be out for, but apparently he's back. It looks like he's going to defend Kenny Omega. Then with Omega having his back turned, trying to deal with the Blackpool Combat Club, Danielson runs with a Busaiku knee into Kenny Omega's mouth. And yeah, Danielson's a heel now, which it sounds weird, but it works. Because now he is officially aligned with the rest of his crew, which we'll see what happens from there. We then get a Guns interview, pretty much saying where FTR got to in 19 years, the Guns got to in 2, which that's actually kind of impressive. And they don't know how they politic their way into this matchup, but next week we're going to end the careers of FTR, AEW careers of FTR. So that match is going to be fun. Next up, AEW International title match as Orange Cassidy defends against the Butcher. We definitely have the Blade out at first. They jump Orange Cassidy before the bell rings. The Blade has a crowbar in which it looks like he's going to hit Orange Cassidy with it. The ref stops him, throws him out, and the match ultimately begins. Cassidy goes for an orange punch. It gets caught, which that's pretty impressive. Lot of good power versus agility stuff from these two. Put on a really good match. And then Butcher takes the ref away for a little bit. Blade comes back out, hits Cassidy with a crowbar, goes for the pin. 1, 2, kick out. Then both of the best friends come out, help Orange Cassidy by taking out the Blade. We then get a orange punch, tequila beach break for the win for Orange Cassidy. We then get a Jade Cargill promo, in which that was kind of her best one yet, saying that the next time Taya Valkyrie uses the Road to Valhalla, she will be officially sued, in which, yeah, that's exactly what this feud needs. Legal stuff. But either way, their match is going to be really good. We then get Juice Robinson versus Action Andretti set for Rampage this week. That should be a fun match. Ahead of Juice Robinson taking on Ricky Starks on Wednesday which I'm looking forward to. We then get a bit of a interesting grudge match for the women as Willow Nightingale takes on Ruby Soho. They were tag team partners for a little bit until Ruby Soho joined the... What's their names? The Outriders? The Outcasts? Outcasts. That being Toni Storm and Saraya, the former Paige. Willow Nightingale early on using her power. Ruby Soho tries fighting back, but it doesn't go her way, including a big old pounce from Willow. In which Ruby Soho blocks the Dr. Bomb, and Toni Storm gets involved without the ref seeing, because she was dealing with Saraya, and then into a roll-up in which Ruby Soho wins. I'm glad they're building the Outcasts up a little bit. I do wish it wasn't against Willow, but... And before they could get in it, the Outcasts could get an attack in. Out comes Riho and Sky Blue to try and make the save. Outcast then fight them off. Out comes Jamie Hayter like a house of fire to make the save. And next week we're going to get Riho versus Jamie Hayter. That's going to be fun for the women's title. We then get a short but sweet promo from Powerhouse Hobbs, pretty much saying March 25th was Powerhouse Hobbs Day, and he has pretty much run through everyone, and that he'll hold on to the TNT title forever. So, short but sweet promo. We'll see where that goes. And finally, Alamo, our main event of the weekly stuff. We have Adam Cole, baby, making his long-awaited in-ring return, taking on Daniel Garcia of the JAS. And honestly, these two put on a technical marvel. Although I will say, every time Adam Cole hit his head, in which Garcia targeted it, which is very smart. I did worry for Mr. Cole. Hopefully he's alright, including a nasty-looking pile driver. Garcia then gets the Dragon Tamer in which Adam Cole gets the ropes. And then after a big old super kick from the corner, Panorama Sunrise, and then the boom, your winner in his first match back, Adam Cole. Post-match, we get Britt Baker in to celebrate with them. They are an item, so that's pretty cool. And then out comes Chris Jericho, who checks on Daniel Garcia, makes sure he's alright, gets him out of the ring, starts walking him up the ramp, kind of looks sideways at Adam Cole, and takes him all the way to the back. If we're getting Adam Cole versus Chris Jericho, I'd be down. As much as I'm not really a fan of the modern Chris Jericho and the JAS, that match would be fantastic. I cannot wait. And that's it for this week. Like I said, I'm not going to be covering Impact because of Multiverse United. Later tonight, we'll not be covering SmackDown or Rampage because of Ring of Honor Supercard on Friday. And then, of course, on Saturday, it's WrestleMania, baby. I'm pretty hyped for it. I hope you guys are too. Let me know what your favorite match of this week was. Let me know what you're looking forward to for WrestleMania week this week, because there's a lot of good shows on this week. I cannot wait. I am hyped. Until then, happy wrestling, everybody.